welcome Vivek Sridhar sir for this podcast. This is a kind of a podcast where I was always waiting for. Trust me, I've seen a lot of people who have influenced me in the community who have said me you can achieve more, but there are very few people who empower. And he's one of the top guests that I really wanted in my podcast because here we are not talking about the tech, we are talking about the journey of building yourself as a right professional. Professional world is filled with a lot of hubbubs and hush hush of saying that it's too complex. But yet we are here to demystify what this professional journey can be the most sweetful journey because I've never seen a person who is more satisfied even in the 12 p.m. in the night in a hackathon sitting and teaching folks. Trust me, it's my honor to have him on my podcast. It's a great way of understanding what Vivek sir's career has been. Like it's been a lot of experiences filled with a lot of things. But trust me, this hour long or a 1.5 hour long podcast is just going to give you that right insight to build yourself as that right professional. I welcome Vivek Sridhar sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Vishwas, for inviting me for your podcast. Thank you
Yes.
very much. Looking forward. I know you have gone out and sourced questions from a lot of people, and somehow it's scary for me now to come to your podcast because there's so many people who have asked those questions. I don't know what questions you have planned to ask me. So yeah, I'm happy to be
Sure.
here, and thank you for inviting me again. And looking forward to have a wonderful discussion for next 1 hour.
Yep. Let's just rewind back in time and just move to that age where you were 17, 18, 19, probably, because that's the age where we enter the field of engineering. Like we want to be the right engineer and we want to be that professional. So we choose that course of engineering and we go in with dreams. But I've seen many people who are just told like engineering was not supposed to be my journey, but I just choose it because of a chance, not for choice. Like I just want to ask you this one question. Who was Vivek Sridhar when he was 20, 25-ish year old?
Cool. I mean, as you told, I'm the second person, right? I wanted to be a physicist. I don't know why, but I wanted to be a physicist, and somehow I got into engineering, and journey started with engineering, and obviously, not much really, very much interested in doing engineering as well, and it's more of enjoying that engineering days and having fun at college, and engineering was just like any other thing which we were doing. And I think this is a fun part of any student life, right? So every student will be enjoying their that specific graduation years, the 4 years which we have. So that is what I was at 20 for sure. And obviously I was into a new college. So that was a really big catch as well, because I was a second batch in that college, and obviously there is not much of an opportunity, and and there was no much of a placements. Obviously there were a couple of things, and then once I passed out of the college, there was I had to go and figure out what I have to do, right? And I had no big ambitions of carrying it to the next level of like MS, doing MS in US and other things, because I felt engineering itself is, for me, it's not like not the right choice as well, right? So but then I joined a company, and there's obviously a story behind it. I went and wrote a lot of tests and other things, and then got into some interviews, and then got into a company. And when I joined that company, I met wonderful people around me, right? Amazing technologists who are building amazing stuff, who think very differently. They were my seniors, obviously, but the kind of people I met there changed my whole perspective about engineering. And And that's when, was the time when, I felt I have amazing people around me. And meeting these people, as part of the mentors, they become mentors for us, was very important. And right boss, right mentors, is so important when you get started. And that was, I was lucky there, and I found right set of people who motivated me at that time. And that motivation has led to Vivek Sridhar today, right? That's what it is.
But what was those learnings that you got from the college? Like, I know you are the second batch, and I am very
Yeah.
proud to say that you were my senior. I think by the time you joined engineering, I joined school, like Srivani Education Center, 2002. That's the year where I joined
Oh,
engineering.
you're from Wani school, and
Yeah.
I'm also from Wani school, by the way.
Oh my God. I didn't know this. I didn't know this. Oh my God. Fine, fine, fine. Let's just move on with the thing of like, what was that learning that really changed you over the course of time? Like that engineering journey,
one
right? It
one
really changes us. Like, yeah.
one important thing which, I just want to uh, bring up here is that while I was in engineering, in final year you're supposed to do a project. And most of my classmates, I don't want to talk about it here in the public, but they go out and buy projects, and because they are preparing for going to US like MS and doing stuff, so they don't want to spend time in putting something effort in doing a building a project. And they usually go out and buy projects, or pick the projects which seniors have done before, and resubmit it as part of the submissions, right? So, I mean, I didn't do that. I went ahead and built my own product. While in that 6 months which we had for that project building activity in last semester, I went ahead and built my own product, and it was network product, basically network engineering product, sending files through different FTP protocols and other things. We needed 4 to 5 machines to test it out, and data has been transferred from. It is an interesting thing, but and this project basically was given to one of my classmates, in who was doing a project at Indian Institute of Science, and they were not able to do it. They were not interested in doing it. I read about that project from them. I was not selected for Indian Institute of Science to do that project. There were toppers who got selected, but they were not interested to pick up that project, and they were spending time in preparing. I picked up the project and built the project in the college itself. Instead of going to ISC, I built it myself. um, that is something which truly changed stuff, right? Because I realized, I can learn stuff faster, I can build stuff faster, I can understand things faster and drive. I can spend time, and then I'll be able to build it. And I have the basic knowledge. I mean, that really gave me a kind of a confidence that, hey, I know, basic knowledge. It's compared to the toppers in the class who threw that project, and me picking up and driving it. Obviously nobody really appreciated the work. Obviously you see that, college will say, okay, you've done the project, great, you go out, pass, you are graduated, goodbye. Right? So nobody really appreciated, but personally I feel that project really gave me a confidence. When I did that project myself, um, it gave me a confidence that yes, I can go back, and even I can build a startup, right? Because this whole thing was a product in itself. The project itself was a product. So that itself is a confidence booster for me. And I took this confidence to my organization when I went into that organization. And that actually changed the perspective of the people who hired me, right? They know within 6 months, they had confidence on me that Vivek can build a project. He can build a complete product. And I was lucky enough. Within 6 months I had a project in my bucket where I was supposed to deliver a big project. uh, you can't even imagine. Even today it has been used by the company to do the automations. So I'm very proud of that, because even today, after 15 years of my career, the code is still running. So I get internal news that the code is still running, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that.
speaking of your journey as a student, it's so fascinating because I can see that passion when you're talking. Because most of the time when we talk about it, we might say like, I just did it for the sake of doing marks. But like, I can see the amount of passion that you like whenever we are in mentoring with you, like whenever you are in a call, and I feel so proud that I'm mentored by you. I think today, I think probably I will be more proud after the podcast. I don't know how much proud I will be. Like, let's just move on to your professional journey. Of course, you went to a firm. You were basically an employee there, but you know, as long as you feel that you're an employee, you'll be an employee there. But as long as the team becomes your family, of course, you even told me that you've never met a team like that. Like what you met as your first team, you never met a team like that. And I was so happy that I'm with somebody great. Like at least I have an access to some brain who is much more of a team player and also much more of a person who is more involved in tech. I just want to ask more on your professional journey. How did it start and how is it going right now?
Yep. So I started my career way back 2006, right? It's like 15 years back. And my first job was with Telelogic. And I mean, I started as a manual tester, by the way. First 3 months I was doing testing, I was given documents and other things. But then they realized, I'm more than that, because um, it was not just the manual testing. It's all about you, how you talk about technology within your peers, how do you interact with them, and are you showing passion to code, and all those things, right? It's not like they give you some work and you start doing that and you're just coming at 9 a.m and going back at 5. You are spending more time and trying to do. You're young, right? You have energy. You can, obviously sit at office and do a lot of stuff, right? And everybody in the team were young. It was not like there were old people who were sitting. Everybody were young. We are discussing about technologies. We are talking about different things. We are trying out different things together and doing a peer-to-peer coding and other things and fixing things and stuff like that. So I started my career at Telelogic, and obviously after 6 to 7 months, Telelogic got acquired by IBM. So I became part of the IBM India Software Labs. This the product which I was working was a legacy product. It's basically a GitHub for enterprise. It is a legacy way of doing stuff, and obviously GitHub will not be able to solve a couple of things what they solve. It's more of it's more of managing the industry code base. At that time, it is really difficult to manage code base of a Boeing airplane, right? When I talk about that, it's completely different, right? It has a lot of components. We need to match these components, but very similar to building a mobile phone as well, right? You have so many components in mobile phone. The code which is written for these components, they have to reuse the code of iPhone 11 to iPhone 12 as well, right? So there is different combinations. So the product was to manage these things, right? And so it was really nice and building the product there. And then I was asked to build a complete tool to completely manage the build and deploy and to people to test and everything. So it is like a building an Ansible. So we had VMwares, we had VMware APIs to use and build a Python Django website to it, connecting all the APIs at the back end. Building the whole product itself was one of my tasks there, and to obviously manage it. And then I moved on to another product and different set of products within IBM. It was a long journey, 9 years of IBM tenure, right? So there were so many other teams I was part of, leading some amazing what do you call the features itself. I was a feature owner for a few of things to build and deploy stuff. But then while doing all these things, DevOps was the most important concept which was coming up, and obviously we were using DevOps, and I was really enjoying that DevOps, as a whole, right? And I was reading a lot about DevOps, and I was like, oh wow, this is so nice, this is so nice. And then I wanted to go into that career where more DevOps work is being handled, right? And I started looking for it, and I found one of the amazing blogs, which I talked about as well in few other podcasts, where Vishal Biani was writing a lot about DevOps, and I started following him. Started looking into his blogs and other things, and then I moved on to HCL, and gave an interview, and I told you, and while giving interview itself, Vishal Biani was sitting in the other side who was interviewing me, which is again a big thing for me. And I started moving towards service industry. So until today, I was, in the product based industry while I was in IBM, and after that I moved into a service industry where it completely change of dynamics, right? It changes the whole perspective of an industry, right? And I was in product slow, you can code on your time, and you can read a lot of stuff, because they're looking at a lot of quality stuff in one release and other thing. Here it is very different. Here it is, you're talking to client, you are managing the architecture of the what client is building, you are suggesting tools, open source tools and other things to the client, and you're talking to the client, and he just doesn't talk to you in PPTs. He needs a document, 40 page or 50 page of solution architecture document, which specific to DevOps. So how do we manage the machines, how do we manage public cloud, which was AWS at that time when I was using. So it was huge set of things, right? I was using all the things, Hadoop, everything, Elastic. I was fortunate, I was fortunate to get such roles where there were a lot of tools, a lot of open source tools, and public cloud, which was just starting, and I was already there using it. And people like Vishal Biani and other people who are already into this field are mentoring me, and I was part of. I get mentored from him even today, so that is a different thing. But I still I sat with Vishal Bini for long times discussing on different set of tools and other things, and to make sure we work with client and other people. So that is one phase where it was HCL. And then I moved on to it was in Australia. So by the way, I was in Australia for some time. So I came back, and I was working with one of the startup called Blackbook, and it is again a different environment, right? It is completely different. When I went into an interview, it was just one room full of developers, that's it. And the whole what I can say, it's like 30 by 30 floor. The whole company is running in that mode, nothing else. So we had only a small office when I walked in, and it was nice. It was a completely different experience for me, and I joined them as head of DevOps, and they had only one production, and moving that one production to have QA environment, developer environment, other environment. They had no idea how they had built the production. There was no playbook. There was nothing. They had no idea what they have installed on the production environments. A lot of packages has been already been installed. Nobody has an idea how to get it up and running. So it was very challenging. I have to say, interviewing developers there to understand what they have installed one by one. and removing access to all the systems for these developers one by one, because there were only 17 developers when we all started, right? And we built a team there. We scaled from 17 to 56 developers within a couple of months, and we had amazing what I call scale in DevOps team as well. We had almost 3-4 engineers working under me, and then there was QA team, and there is a lot of other teams were reporting to me directly. And that was a phase where you are interviewing people, you're managing production, you are managing a team, and you are working with other teams, product team and other sales team, everyone, to understand what is going into the production and everything. So you're all over there, right? So in all the team meetings, you're there. In all the stuff you do, you're all there. And then I decided to start my own. It's not like I started like I went into a startup and I thought, okay, I'll do a startup, right? It's not like that. While I was at IBM itself, I had ideas to start, and I had been working on different ideas. One was Noodle Next, but before that, I have tried a lot of other things. It was not just the one. And Noodle Next was, I wanted to do full time on it, and I moved from a startup to build a startup. And obviously, while building and after building the product, I realized I'm too techy. Uh, into while building the product, there is so many things in getting the startup up and running, right? There is operations, there is cost, there is marketing, there is sales, there is so many other aspects. That's when I realized, okay, oh, hold on, this is I don't have money for running the whole startup. And I have to go back and see how I can fuel money into this. And then when we went to a lot of VCs and a lot of people out there, there is uh, we try to find VC to invest so that we can run our field marketing and other things. Even though product is really great and look and feel of the product is great, product had a lot of stuff, but there is a missing piece, that is our capabilities, because they were obviously looking at the team. The team dynamics was all of techies. The team dynamics, it's not just about team dynamics, it's also about how the team is, right? It's like only one person is full time, and there is hardly any people are full time. And also the team as well, right? How motivated this team is to drive things and other stuff. So there's so many aspects into it, and I got a lot of feedback around it. That's when, while I was doing all these, I was in a couple of communities and other things like meetup.com. I was going to some startup forums and other things. While I was doing that, DigitalOcean reached out to me and they said, would you like to be a you know developer advocate for us? I felt this role is really good, because I've learned so many things while building a product company. While I was in IBM, I have understood how to build products, and I have I moved to service industry. I know how to handle clients, how to handle the discussions from an architecture perspective, and how to drive that conversation. I've been in startup, so I know startup architectures, startup tools, the way they design, and how what are those tools will help them scale, and how would they have to build GitHub strategy. The GitHub strategy itself for startup is quite different from the enterprise, right? So all these things, I had already have an experience. I had my own startup, so I'm building complete product. Was again same being a chief architect of the product itself. I understood everything of building a product. So DigitalOcean senior developer advocate was a great role because um, I was supposed to do two things. One, share my knowledge with the community, which was nice. I started interacting with a lot of communities and other places. And then there was the other aspects where I was working with startups, startup CTOs, startup people who are building stuff, meeting them, talking to them about technology, meeting their team, they discussing about their problems and issues, and I giving them solutions on how they should be doing it, how they can solve it, and what is the timeline they can take a look at these problems, and how they can go about these timelines and other things. So when I started doing that office hours with a lot of startups, I met somewhere around 127 startups. If you see the number, right? 127 startups or 147 startups, I believe. I don't remember the exact number though, but surely 120 plus startups, and lot of communities activities, right? I mean, uh, myself and Karan, we traveled almost 20 cities across India, trying and talking to a lot of people, and it was great, meeting a lot of developers and being part of a lot of conferences, interacting with people, and obviously, and in Microsoft, you know, the from there I definitely moved to Microsoft. Um, Microsoft was completely different, right? I picked up Microsoft over being a head of DevOps. I had two options, and I was supposed to join as a head of DevOps to one of the company, and I had Microsoft as an option to join them. So either go tech, or you go into something which skill which you don't have, and go there and build on that skill. Tech, you obviously have the skill and you will be able to scale there, because head of DevOps, I've already done that before. And this is something was a new skill to me as well, right? Doing an investment planning, doing a strategy, and also being a tech evangelist, also being in part of the communities, in interacting with a lot of communities, and building obviously a kind of a plan and other things, and driving a lot of things in communities as well, right? So I was just in a fix, like, should I go here or should I go here? And so this I picked up Microsoft is only one main reason, right? Because of our vision which we have, to empower people, and to upskill people, upskill developers across, globally, basically. But I'm more of, if you see my LinkedIn, you will see that I always talk about empowering and upskilling people, in and upskilling developers across India. So that is a amazing vision statement, which obviously drives me, right? So that is, I mean, that's been my complete journey, from the time I started to what I am today. And so that's it.
Yeah,
That's all I want.
that's it. Because most of the times when we just talk with you, you don't try to make anybody learn this only, learn that only. You make everybody explore everything new. That's what I can feel like. You have explored a lot, and you have explored it. Of course, you are from the pre-Kubernetes, pre-Docker era. That's for sure. Because you have actually seen lot and lot of technologies. But I want to ask you this one question. You may choose to answer it both spiritually as well as technically also. What is the value of education and commitment in your life today? Like, what are these value brought into your life? Like the way you are educating people, the way you educate people. Like you yourself have told, like, I don't know many things, come up with a session, people teach me also. And you have actually taught us many new things that we never knew, and you give us a lot of mentoring sessions and things like that. But what's the value of commitment and education in your life today?
So I'm trying to decode the question. So you're saying that, what is it value for me, uh, for driving these events, and I mean, doing these talks I do on weekends, and skilling people. Yeah, I mean, it's like, um, I don't. I'm not really a guy who's interested in becoming a director, becoming a CEO, or becoming something which is like, like most of the people are striving to do it, right? Basically, I'm not that guy, who is looking at, who's looking at director role or becoming some senior directors and various other things, right? Becoming like CTOs and engineering managers, and people want those titles, but I'm not the that guy. I, as I told you, I joined Microsoft for a vision we had. We have, and what we want to take forward, and that itself, right? I see a lot of messages, people, um, after this session, or after a few months after this session, I see so many people pinging me personally, telling me thank you very much for that session, it really changed, and I was able to either clear some certification, or I was able to do some stuff. I got a job, I got a internship, and people, when they ping all these things to me as in person, I feel so happy. It's kind of like you have touched people, right? You have, there is, you never know, basically what you're, you might be doing a simple session. You go out there and you do a simple session, and where 40-50 people are sitting, and you're delivering a session, and then you're coming back. But in those 50 people, there might be a person who got inspired and got something out of it, and maybe that changed his life, and maybe it did, create a job for him, or he was able to do something out of that session. So I keep getting this, when I see this, right? I should do more, right? If this is not enough, I should do more, so that more people can get benefit out of what I am doing, right? So that is something which inspires me. That is something, is the value. And uh, personally, you are very happy when you see all these kind of messages. I've seen people pinging me and telling, on Teachers Day, they're pinging me and telling, happy Teachers Day, for me. And I've seen people telling me that, you have just changed my life after introducing me to so many open source tools and giving me a path to how to get started and doing stuff. I have not done anything. In fact, I have not done anything personally and one to one. It's basically, I've just done a session, and probably they would have asked me a question when they had attended my session. Probably I would have told them, this is the way you should be taking, this is the path you should be taking, and that has impact for them. So when you see those impacts, right, you want to do more, you want to go out and you want to drive more stuff. That is a holy thing which I keep doing. Nothing else. That is a value I take out of all the things which I do. I'm happy to see a lot of people reaching out to me and telling me that they had my talk or my session has an impact for them. And that's simple. Life, you are touching somebody's life, and maybe it is in the growth for the country as well, right? You are skilling people, uh, and people are getting skilled, and that is the opportunity I've got from Microsoft as well, to skill a lot of people. That's my job itself, so which is really good. So that's the value I'm taking out of this things which I do.
Yeah, because I've been in most of your sessions, like offline sessions, like in-person sessions, which used to happen once upon a time. Like, because due to the pandemic, it's all online and we can't have any meets, any meetups, or anything. Like, it's all virtual these days. But like, you told me that story of this NASCOM and the meet which happened there, and you were a part of that meet. And it was all about upskilling India, because you also told that there are DevSec rules, there are other rules which are coming up, but people are not getting ready. And you also pointed out that people can get skilled up not just because of the syllabus that is being given to them, it's also by the communities, like what you're building through all the students, all the members of the like IT sectors. We are just building out sessions, we are calling speakers and things like that. Like, what really just caught your mind on that day and told, like, it was that impactful in your life that, like, you were doing a lot of sessions afterwards, and yeah, you were before that you were doing a lot of sessions, but like afterwards building community. And what actually motivated you to say that communities can really educate people for the future?
Yeah, so I was in DigitalOcean at that time, and I attended a meeting uh, in NASCOM, and the meeting, obviously, the reason was various different things. I mean, everyone was there, even Google, Microsoft, AWS team, everyone was there to discuss something which was they were supposed to build. But what caught my mind was the NASCOM head talking about how do I skill people, because there is a gap in skilling, and we are driving a lot of things, but what is that thing can help people skill? That's when everybody, it's not just us, but everybody were discussing about communities, right? The community is something which can help, and I was very new to DigitalOcean at that time, and I was into startup communities and other things, and developer communities were not a regular folk, I mean regular guy at the developer communities. But then from then, there was an impact on me, right? From then I realized India needs skilling, and what is that something which I can do, and how I can help people to skill. um, you know Community is one of the ways to do it, hackathon is one of the ways to do it, and various other things is one of the ways to do it. So then I realized I'm in the right job. If my area of expertise is to skill people, and I want to skill people, I want to make sure that people are getting skilled, and at a scale. That is what I'm looking at, and I can't go and skill people at one to one. uh, we can't grow country like that, right? So if you want to grow a country, we have to scale. So that is the main reason why I spent some time there. And obviously DigitalOcean did so many things in communities. And we were, myself and Karan were enjoying skilling people. The kind of talks we did, and the kind of the connect we had with the community. um, you know People came back. I've seen people coming back to me, asking for sessions. They're coming back to me and talking about different technologies. Can you do this talk? Can you help me drive this talk for my community and other things? So I started enjoying that. There is obviously people have learning something, and I can learn fast, and I did talk on 18 different technologies while I was in DigitalOcean. There were, I mean, I realized that while leaving DigitalOcean, because I was handing over all the PPTs to the people, whatever talks I had done. Then I was opening one by one how many technologies I've been doing, and then I asked 18 different technologies. Oh, wow. I was every not technology, maybe tools, I can call it. So it was 18 different tool sets, and different kinds of dogs, different demos for those. Everything was different. So I mean, it gives me uh, you know, you realize that you can build demos, you can build content, and help people skill, and give them right direction through my talk on where they can find help. If they don't find help, come back to me. I'm available to you. So that is the kind of relationship I've built with the community. So a lot of them come to me. That is one more challenge I'm trying.
So
Basically, as I told you, right, DigitalOcean, I uh, handing over those slides and other things, I realized that it was 18 different tools and different technologies I've been delivering talks. So that is when I realized, I can do all this stuff pretty fast. And that is the main reason why um, you know it's easier for me to build all those different technologies, demos and other things, and go out and skill people. But most important thing is the connect is with the community, right? So um, it's not like giving them just the direction that you go and figure out this through this link, but also, I'm available for you to discuss if you have any issues, or if something is missing, I'm available for a discussion and we can work it out. And that is one way good that people reach out to me back on different set of questions and other things. They keep pinging me on LinkedIn or on Twitter, but nowadays I'm feeling it's challenging because I'm not able to answer everyone. So it's a huge responsibility, right? Because people are pinging me. I Per day I get some 30 messages, either some students or somebody from a different community, from my own connect, where I've been interacting with them for various things. um, so all this is so many messages, 50 messages pile up if you don't reply. And you are in a position, you are in sitting in a position where you're spending almost an hour in replying to people. So that is the whole crux of it.
Yeah, because most of the time when we think of our job or something, we feel that is more hectic, and we forget that we can learn something beyond this also. And that's the thrill of working for any community. Like, you get a chance to break out from the comfort zone, and you just have to just do something beyond what you are given also. Like, that's where this commitment and things like that. I think you should be knowing Arvind sir for sure, from the Elastic. Like, I've attended two of his talks, one with you and one with the Azure developer community, Elastic only. And in one of his talk, he told about, I'm learning Tailwind CSS. It's nice to learn something new, and like delivering a talk, just come in, just give the talk and things like that. But like, there are some developers who literally say that my work is too much, brother. I just want to work. So community work is later. Like, some people might say that for sure. Like, of course, most of them will say that. But like, what's your tips and tricks for those people who are stuck in that career? Like, sometimes people can't break out from that point of time. Like, they feel that they are stuck in it and they don't want to break out, and suddenly they will feel that this career is not for me, or things like that. What do you want to say about the challenges that you have faced, that thoughts and the process which you went through, and the people that you met? What did it teach you? Because these problem statements were never being solved, I think, from any person. Because there will be a
What
mentor, there will be somebody who will be coming and saying that, hey, just do like this, just do like that. But I want it from you, sir, because I am going to be a future professional, and many of them are going to be the future professionals. So I want to ask you this one simple, straight question: how to handle pressure in the work? Like, how to just be the one who just works with the flow, like you.
I mean, see, one when you have passion, right? You don't feel that as a pressure at all. And you know I've taken much bigger pressure than this managing production. So I was head of DevOps. It's much bigger than what we are doing today. If something goes wrong in the production, right, today, the all of the CDN has gone down, and everybody is pinging and Twitter, right, and talking about it. So similar to that, right, that is a big pressure. So this, you know what I would say is, there were a couple of things, right, in your discussion, right. One was, I would say, if you want to come out of your comfort zone, right, it's more important for you to seek communities. It's very important. First point is obviously go and find communities where you can contribute. Contribution is one. It's not just about being co-organizers, it's also about attending it, um, because it is helping a lot of other people. I know it takes a lot of effort to plan an event, you know uh, I have seen people RSVPing to it and not attending. It takes a lot of effort. For me as a speaker, it's not my day job, and I am building something, a demo at 4 a.m. and building that PPT to come and deliver a talk for you, uh, where I'm sharing my knowledge with you, for you to learn because you have RSVP'd, right? So, and I have seen people not attending couple of events, right? Things like that. So I would say contribution is not just going becoming organizer, but also is an attending it. And the other thing is you delivering a talk in those communities is so important for you to upskill, right? It will teach you a lot of things. It will teach you about the technology, and it will teach you leadership. It will teach you how to um, how to deliver a talk, and how to make sure you're talking, the storytelling is good or not. How is your storytelling ability? And you will see, once your first talk versus the talks which you're delivering today, it's completely different, right? Your first talk was crap, and what I'm delivering today is something really different. I myself sometimes feel, okay, this talk was bad. I think I need to fix these things. This is uh these messaging was wrong, and this was wrong. The demo went really bad, so I should have planned for demo right. So there is so many things, it will teach you in life. And organizing committee, again, being part of organizing committee will give you so much. It empowers you as a leader, right? And planning, strategy, leadership, everything comes in that. And I think being part of the community will definitely help. And you have to move out of your comfort zone. I mean, you are sitting in a place and you're telling that, I'm done with it, and this tech is not for me. I started my career with saying that engineering is not for my real choice, right? And I wanted to be a physicist. So, but if you go and see the career now, right, it's completely different. The reason is you meeting right set of people, you having right set of mentors, being in part of the right set of communities, having friends in these communities. You mentioned about Arvind, right? You know Arvind and myself are so good friends that we keep talking about technology. We talk about a lot of other things as well, but he finds a new tool or I find a new tool, I post it in the WhatsApp to him and say, hey, have you checked this tool? This tool actually solves this problem. And he posts a lot of other set of tools, where he talks about, hey, this tool is solving these many problems, that. And look, so basically we talk about different set of tools as a community leaders, right? And now it gives us kind of learning. And I have learned so many things from Arvind, right? Because he's sharing so many tools with me. Oh, okay, this is how I can solve this problem, this is how I can do this stuff, right? And this is the article on the different things, and this is the newsletter I need to follow. So all these things has come through the discussions with the community. So this is very much important, being part of community, being part of the people and other things. So very important for people to drive these things.
So, last question from my side, and we'll take up the questions from Harikiran sir. 25 of them, I took a day to segregate that question. Vivek, Poonam, Ashibad, and all the other people who literally just stashed me with the questions in the Google Docs. And I was like, damn, how can I really segregate it? Last question: how to communicate like a leader? Because probably we are somehow lacking that essence of that soft skill. Like we need that somehow, but we feel that there are much more different requirements and we forget these kind of soft skills. Like how to communicate like a leader, like you.
Like having empathy. Simple. Once you have the empathy, you will be able to communicate. uh, I know why this person is asking me this question. I know why um, a person is reaching out to me on a LinkedIn, uh, you know there is something, right? If he has reached out to me on LinkedIn and telling me that, I've been following you, I want to, I want to skill myself in DevOps, what should I do, where should I start? So I know why this person is asking, and I reply to them faster than anybody else. There are other people who messages me for, can you sponsor this event, can you sponsor that event. I keep that as priority 2 or priority 3. And but person who is reaching out for me for skilling, for mentoring and other things, I take that as a priority 1. you know when you show empathy and you work with them, um, if it impacts him, right, he will go out and do the same thing for others. And today he might be 2 years experience or 3 years experience guy, but tomorrow he's going to be 10 years experience, or 15 years, and he's going to go and do the same thing what I did to him. And that is what I'm trying to drive, right? That is what the empathy is all about. Like, you're communicating through empathy. I understand what the other person is actually feeling, and help him in terms of solution solving that problem. And sometimes, I know, sometimes you might not be able to give time, like how I could, because there's so many people, there's so many things I'm doing, and sometimes you don't have time, and still, try and see if you can talk to the person. Because I remember last 2 weeks back, I was so busy that I was not able to reply to a lot of people reaching out. I took almost my Saturday morning to reply to all of them. And I'm sure people, whoever is might be watching this, they would have got a reply in the weekend, right? Um, so that's how it is. I try to help them through empathy. uh, so if you are a leader, and you will definitely have that quality.
Yeah, because like you, if we just post something, if there is something wrong, you just come back and say, hey, this was wrong in WhatsApp. And or else, like, if we have shared something great, you tell us like how to add a hashtag, how to add this, how to tax the right people. And yeah, we literally enjoy the way you're mentoring us. And I think probably it's not about the tech is like, you have an amazing set of content for tech. I didn't want to do tech. So yeah, as you told, we just went on with this career journey, and so far, yeah, I am so satisfied that I did this podcast with you. Not because this was my first ever podcast on career, and I think this is going to be the best podcast that I ever did, and also the most tense podcast that I ever had.
What? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, let's just go on with the questions which bunch of people are willing to ask for you. Like, the first question from Poonam is like, do you still remember your first talk, like the community event, the first event that you ever talked on stage as a professional on the community?
Oh, as a professional or not as a student?
As a student, obviously, you have done a lot of cultural events and things like that, of course, but like as a professional, you can even talk about the cultural one also.
No, cultural one is not the one I did. And in college, I did a talk. Um, you know, um, the first talk which I did in college um, was more from physics. Physics, by the way. I
Oh,
was supposed to do a talk on something related to physics,
first
and I
year,
had built
right?
this slide. Yes, first year. And we had something called a science forum at that time in the college. And we had started like students coming up and doing talks on different physics topics. And I had picked it up, and I don't know why I picked it up. And I planned for that talk. I created some slides to it and went for the delivering that talk. And it was funny because they were computer science engineering students, info information science students, and they were electronic engineers. Everybody was there in that room. So it's like thousand students sitting in front of me, and I was supposed to deliver the talk in front of 1,000 people. And that was my first experience for a large group, right? Previously you would have done some kind of talk in your school where only 50 or 20 or 30 people would have will be in front of you. But um, here it was quite different, right? It was 1,000 students who were sitting in that room, and I was delivering a talk there. And it was so pathetic. I don't know what to talk. I forgot what to talk. I don't know which slide I'm in, and I kept playing with the PPT. And I went through the most embarrassing moment. um, that was my first experience in student uh, in a student circle. But in professional, I don't remember, because the moment you get into professional, it's like every day you do it. It's like you are sitting in a room of 15 people, 30 people, and you are talking about something you're building, and other things. And yeah, I mean, it's like and I was in client location with 20, 30 people of client and HCL, and everybody's there, and I'm doing a talk on the tools we are supposed to pick and which tool versus which tool and other stuff. So I think, I mean, uh, that had already trained me as a speaker, right? All these things. So I don't see any issues there. And obviously, DigitalOcean as well. I think we also all had a discussion as well, how Karan helped me in terms of understanding building that slide, right? I used to build slides, but building right set of slides and building messaging in that slide was so important. And how Karan actually helped me in terms of doing that, keeping an open mind, keeping an listening to critics and learning through critics. It helped me a lot through what Karan was talking to me, right? So those are the things. There are a couple of things, learnings in while you are doing the talks and other stuff, right? So these are two things. But college one I always remember, because that was a time when I was really embarrassed for giving that talk. But today I don't feel I'm really embarrassed. I'm like this, right? I
Rock
go into a
star.
talk without even preparing, right? I just go and my slides are ready. That's it. I'm done. I'm ready to deliver the talk. So which is good. That's the transformation I've had.
Yeah, when we were in the in-person meet, I used to feel you are the rock star on the stage. No, nothing can really stop you at any given point. Like, even let the demo go wrong, you'll somehow get back that track and you will just do that. Like, that's the amount of work that you have done. Like, we have to learn a lot from it. Like, my personal question, what's that advice that you want to give for the 20 and the 25-year-old that you wish you knew during that time? Like, you just want to say that I didn't know this, but I'm saying you know this now. Like, any tips and tricks or any
I
keywords
never.
that you want to say?
Yeah, it's mentorship. I never knew at that time I need to have a mentor. And if I had mentor at that time, probably I would have been different as well as of today. And it's not just about mentoring, it's about communities as well. So I had no idea that there are communities and I can go and be part of those communities while I was 20, 25. I was just a normal software engineer going to office and enjoying and building stuff, uh, learning things, learning new things, even though I was learning new things and other things, but it was not like community stuff, right? And I could have learned more if I had gone to a lot of communities. I could have done more if I had known mentors at that time. Like I obviously, IBM, I had mentors and other things. That's when I knew about mentors, but I never called them as mentors. I mean, they were helping me with things, and I was working with them. I was chatting with them and other things. But while I progressed in my career, started realizing that mentors really help you, and you should have a mentor. and you should figure out, and you should have a right mentor, right? What do you want to be in career? You should go and meet that person as, as a kind of a mentorship.
Yeah, the question is from one of my friend who is also working in Google. He was there in one of his digital ocean talk itself, and his name is Abhishek, and he's an amazing chap. And he just want to ask you that question of like, do you fear production dying? Like now, do you really fear production dying?
No, right now, no. But it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Trust
Yeah.
me, it is a nightmare.
Like how
So,
was it, like how was that experience, like when we hear John Willis says that the seven diseases of development and process and things like that, when we look at his speech, of course he's coming on 26th of this month, and I'm so happy that he's coming to my podcast on 26th. Like, there are a lot of ways in which we just overthink and we just burden ourselves with a lot of other complexities, like how to think very simple. Like you just solve the problems like this. Like I've seen in your sessions, like how to think simple. That's my question. Like how to not
you should,
overthink.
you should not panic. That's it. You know, you should stay calm. And I did one of the talk in RootConf. My demo is not working. I'm on a stage. RootConf is obviously a big stage to deliver talk. You hardly get a chance to be a speaker there, and have got a chance, and my demo is not working, and the bunch of people sitting in front of me. And I don't know whether you've seen Iman's convention center, the way it is structured. It's kind of an amazing place to deliver talks. Demo was not working because of the network issue, and I was able to log into the system, and it was throwing me out. um, I was like, what's happening? Why it is throwing me out? Then I have to, fix that problem to show them a demo, right? And I was doing a live demo of, you know, hitting the application with n number of requests, and it should hit and it should scale. So it should hit, I should run that code where it should hit the application. So I'm not able to run it. So I had installed it on a VM, so that was a bad thing to do with it. So but still, um I was trying to fix that problem. So if I had panicked at that time, I would have done something really wrong. I calm down and try to see if there is a possibility of fixing it, and think about what command I can give, so that I just log into the system and run a command and come back if it fails to log in again, right? So I just was supposed to drive one single command. So giving ampersand at the end and just run it in the background will help me to fix that problem, right? So think about it, and you should not panic, right? These are the things, right? uh Panicking will make you a person like you will not be able to solve the problem on the globe. And obviously production, right? It's not, you know um while you are managing the productions, right, you have to be aware of things, what is going inside, what can cause issues, everything. You should keep that in mind. You should monitor those things and everything. Your strategy for monitoring and everything has to be right. And if it fails, you know why it fails, and you can fix it earlier. And obviously, you know production fail and fixes are there. You should not just panic it. You have to be calm. I've seen many things, right? The uh, AWS keys, root keys. In fact, I'm talking about, it was available with the hacker, and he was creating machines in AWS instance which we had. So I've seen all these kind of problems, and if I panic at that time, as a leader, you will not be able to handle the team, handle the problem, will not be able to fix. And at that time, what needs to be fixed has to be fixed. But you have to think from a fixed perspective and see how you can solve those problems in production.
Yeah, that's what it is all about. Like, just stay calm, just pursue that moment for a while and just get that question. Last question from Harikiran sir. All the questions that I asked, every person asked was covered in his questions. So exactly this podcast was done with the help of Harikiran sir, Shubham, Karthik. They three wrote the questions, and I was like, man, where can I choose? Like, everything was covered in that. Like, he specifically asked you this one question, like, what's the biggest challenge that you have with your specific role right now, and how are you going to overcome it? Like, that's his question. Like, it covers about the career, like the growth in which you had, the way you impact people, everything. Like, how do you
My
overcome
biggest,
the problem?
I've already discussed. My biggest problem today I have is talking to the community. There are so many people reaching out, and I don't know how to manage that. And as I told you, right now I've started doing every weekend prioritization of it. Who is the person I have to reply, and who is the okay. These are the reply. These are the people I can reply after a week as well, and how who needs more information, and more help from an empathy and various things. I take that into consideration, and then work with the community. I mean that has been a major challenge with all the work I am doing. Um, you don't have time. You are in calls, you are talking a lot of things, and I'm into marketing and strategy and other things in one morning, 9 to 6. And after that I switch myself into a technology guy, and doing stuff and delivering talks in different forums. And and absolutely, when you're doing that, you don't have time to reply to all of them. And um, I feel sorry sometimes. It's been like 2 weeks that I haven't replied to people. I know I saw, um people, they ask my phone numbers. If I give them my phone number, it becomes another challenge. Like, I cannot answer them over phone every time. So there are a couple of people who have reached out, and I keep talking to them. But that is the biggest challenge I have now. Like, you know in this role, you're a community person, you're a face, and people know you, and people reach out to you for help, and I not able to help everyone. That's the challenge. That's the major challenge. I don't really look at challenges like becoming director and other stuff. That's all secondary.
Yeah, you know, thank you so much for all the answers that you gave. Because I think probably somebody who wants to say that I want to just improve my resume has to look back at this talk and say that he has to improvise on himself first, then his resume will automatically be improved. I think probably this podcast is something which I really wanted to do for a long run. Of course, I was waiting for your dates to be there in my hand. I think God
I
was
know, I
so
know.
grateful to me. Yes, sir.
I know that you've been one of the person who is following up with me for a long time. As I told you, right? There's so many people coming, and I'm not able to give time.
Yeah.
So, I since you followed up with me so many times, I wanted to make sure that I definitely need to give this guy a time to do a podcast.
Thank you so much, sir. I think God's grace, I have done the podcast and my bucket list is filled. Of course, there are a lot more people to come. And I think today is my like the most satisfied day. Like, I'll go back after the recording, I'll see the pre-podcast, post-podcast, do some processing, then I'll go sleep. Tomorrow I'll start editing. Trust me, this was the very satisfied day of my life. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.